The Clay Marble by Mi Fong Ho. Preface. Cambodia's long and rich history dates back over 1,000 years to when the magnificent Buddhist temple complex of Angkor was built. For centuries, Cambodia remained a powerful kingdom, periodically expanding and shrinking in border wars with neighboring Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. In the last 2 centuries, it survived French colonialism and World Wars I and II relatively unscathed, and then managed to remain neutral throughout most of the Vietnam War. During the 1970s, however, the United States, the Soviet Union, and China backed various political groups in Cambodia. And Cambodia became more and more polarized until open conflict broke out. In 1975, the same year the communists liberated Vietnam, the communist Khmer Rouge declared victory in Cambodia. What happened under that regime during the next 4 years was a nightmare for the Cambodian people. They were shut off from the rest of the world, and more than 1 million men, women, and children were killed. It wasn't until Vietnamese troops invaded Cambodia and Cambodians had a chance to flee their country that the outside world began to realize the awful suffering inflicted upon the Cambodians. Night after night, scenes of gaunt, wide-eyed Cambodian refugees were broadcast on television news programs. Unable just to sit and watch, I took a leave of absence from Cornell University in the spring of 1980 and returned to Thailand, where I had grown up. There, I joined an international relief agency and helped to set up supplementary feeding programs for children living in refugee camps along the Thai-Cambodian border. I remember my first day at the border. There are no words to describe the intensity of suffering I saw there. The sickness, the starvation, the sheer silence of this vast sea of people overwhelmed me. I wanted to shut my eyes, turn around, and go back home. Then I felt a small hand on my arm. Looking up at me was a ragged little girl. She held one palm out to offer me a small, round ball of mud. I took it, then impulsively bent down and scooped up some mud from a nearby puddle and rolled my own clay marble. When she saw that I was offering her this marble in exchange for the one she had given me, her face broke out into a beautiful wide smile. Within minutes, children were crowding around to show me their homemade toys, clay marbles and buffaloes, rag dolls, fish made from strips of banana leaves, trucks created out of tin cans. The intricacy of the toys was wonderful, but it was nothing compared to the radiance of those children's laughter. I saw these refugees then for what they really were, not the victims of war, but its victors. They were the people who had, against all odds, survived, determined to start their lives over again. I don't know what happened to the little girl who gave me that clay marble. Maybe she went home to Cambodia with a fresh supply of rice and rice seed and tools to try to make a new life for herself and her family. Or maybe she stayed on at that border, one of 250,000 other refugees still living in camps there. Whatever she did, life could not have been easy for her. Today, Cambodia is still at war with itself, despite many attempts to come to a peaceful settlement. The other evening, as I was strolling along the Mekong River, just 80 miles upstream from Cambodia, I saw a group of children playing on the riverbank. They were rolling marbles out of the damp clay, and I stopped and asked for one. Smiling, they put a clay marble, still cool and damp, in my outstretched hand. I have it on my desk, and although I have long since lost the other marble, I can hold this one and look at the green rice plants swaying outside my open window here, and hope with all my heart that that little girl who gave me that first clay marble is safe and happy home in Cambodia.